hearing the entirety of this matter this morning, Ms. Galvo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, what is the recommendation, just so that I know?
The recommendation, Your Honor, is 30 days in jail, credit for time served. She does have the time. They're both cases are to run concurrent.
Okay, great. Well then, Ms. Thomas, at this time, the court is calling the matters of the state of Texas versus Tiffany Yvonne Ojeda. We have initially a motion to revoke her community supervision, and this is cause number 2020 0C07480. And then we have a purported guilty plea, and that is cause number 2022 0C05017. And if I may at this time, please have announcement of counsel.
Nayeli Barbosa for the state, Your Honor.
Ana Yelda with the El Paso County Public Defender Office, also appearing on behalf of Mr. Jonathan Huerta, here on behalf of Ms. Tiffany Ojeda, ready.
Okay, and thank you, Ms. Barbosa. Thank you, Ms. Yaldo. And good morning, Ms. Ojeda. How are you doing?
Good morning, Your Honor. Good, thank you.
And I am happy to hear that, Ms. Ojeda. And I can tell you, you're in excellent hands with Ms. Yaldo and your attorney. So I am sure that all of your rights have been explained in both of these matters. And these rights are a little bit different. On the motion to revoke probation, you have a right to have a contested hearing, wherein the state would need to bring in witnesses to prove up any or all of the violations alleged in the state's motion to revoke your probation. It is my understanding, however, that you are waiving your right to have a contested hearing. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And also you have the right to have me read to you the actual motion to revoke your probation here in open court. I understand that Ms. Yaldo has already explained that motion to you thoroughly, and it is my understanding that you are waiving the reading of that motion. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Ojeda, are you a United States citizen?
Yes.
And I thoroughly believe that. I don't have any reservations, but I still must ask it or must inform you that if you are not, a plea of true to the allegations contained in this motion and a subsequent finding of true and revocation could result in your deportation, denial of naturalization, or exclusion under federal law. Do you understand that?
I do, Your Honor.
And knowing all these things, is it still your wish, your desire to plead true to the allegations contained in the state's motion to revoke your probation?
Yes, it is.
Now, before I accept that plea of true, let me inform you on the other matter, the purported guilty plea. You have certain rights there that are fundamental. You have the right to a jury trial, right to confront any and all witnesses against you, right to plead not guilty, and force the state through their attorney to prove up each and every element of this offense against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You also have 10 days to prepare for trial. And finally, you have the right to remain silent. Now, Ms. Ojeda, do you understand those very important rights?
I choose to waive those rights.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
But
it just cut out. It cut out and I didn't really hear the end of it.
Oh, okay. I am just asking on the guilty plea, the rights that you have as I have explained them. Do you understand those rights?
I do, Your Honor.
And again, you've told me you are a United States citizen. I fully believe that and understand that. I, however, need to warn that if you are not, a plea of guilty to this matter could result in your deportation, denial of naturalization, or exclusion under federal law. Do you understand that?
I do.
And knowing all these things, Ms. Ojeda, is it still your wish, your desire to plead guilty to this offense this morning?
It is, Your Honor.
Now, before I entertain your pleas of true on the motion to revoke and your plea of guilty on this matter, let me ask your counsel, Ms. Yaldo, do you have any concerns or reservations about your client's mental competence?
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Yaldo. And does the state, Ms. Barbosa, have any reservations or concerns regarding the defendant's mental competence?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Barbosa. And Ms. Ojeda, what was the last grade in school that you completed?
I have 2 more years for my bachelor's in forensic science.
Okay, you are an educated woman, so clearly you can both read and write the English language.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been treated, hospitalized, diagnosed with any type of mental illness or mental issue?
No, not at all. Not lately. Well, not lately, no.
Oh, well, at any time, have you been diagnosed or treated for any type of mental illness?
When I was younger, when I was 16, yeah, they had diagnosed me.
And that has clearly resolved, Ms. Ojeda?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are not taking any kind of medication at present for any of that?
None at all.
Okay, my observations of Ms. Ojeda indicate to me that clearly she is mentally competent, and I'll make that finding as to both matters before the court. And Ms. Yaldo, on the purported plea, do you and your client acknowledge the state's compliance with Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 39.14?
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
Thank you, Ms. Yaldo. And Ms. Barbosa, is that the state's acknowledgement that they did comply with that statute?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Barbosa. Then Ms. Ojeda, to the motion to revoke your community supervision and the allegations contained therein, are these allegations true or are they not true?
True, Your Honor.
And are you saying they're true because they are and not for any other reason, Ms. Ojeda?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then on the purported plea of guilty on that matter, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And are you saying you're guilty again because you are and not for any other reason, Ms. Ojeda? Are you pleading guilty because you are and not for any other reason, Ms. Ojeda?
I am guilty, Your Honor.
Okay, then I am going to accept your respective pleas of true to the motion to revoke and guilty to the pending matter as both voluntarily and freely made. I am at this time finding the allegations true in the motion to revoke, and I am similarly finding you guilty on the other matter, that is the assault causing bodily injury to a family member. Ms. Ojeda, how old are you? Ms. Ojeda, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm 33, Your Honor.
Okay. And I am going to impose the sentences as per the agreement in their entirety, Ms. Ojeda. That'll be 30 days to serve on each matter. You'll be credited for any and all time served. There will be no fines. Court costs, however, must be paid, but those same court costs are to be credited within the individual sentences. Both matters to run concurrent. And Ms. Ojeda, are you a mom by any chance?
Yes, I am.
Okay. How many children do you have?
I have 4.
And that's a handful, Ms. Ojeda. It is also a wonderful blessing and a gift. And Ms. Ojeda, you strike me as being an intelligent, capable woman, someone that's so much better than this. Because every day that you're locked up, you're away from your kids, from your family, the people who count on you, who look up to you, because you are the example, like it or not. As parents, we are all examples to our kids, and we can be good examples, but we can be negative or bad examples. You strike me as being someone that can do so many wonderful things. And you strike me as someone who's intelligent and driven and can just, be a great influence to those beautiful children. And that's all that I'm saying. I'm not going to belabor the point. Our children, they learn from us and they look at our actions, what we do, how we live life. That's what they pay attention to, not necessarily our words or our lectures. And especially if those don't complement each other. If you say something and do something else, believe me, your children are taking note of that. This is clearly not the example that you want to give them, Ms. Ojeda. And I'm not going to belabor the point. You're better than this, aren't you?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
And your kids deserve better, don't they?
Yes, I do.
And I'll leave it at that. God bless you, Miss Ojeda. And I pray that after this experience, you get out and you never look back. You do what God has planned for you, and you be there for that wonderful family.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate that so much.
Is there anything else, Miss Yaldo?
No, Judge, it's just been a pleasure working with Ms. Ojeda, and I wish her the best as well.
Okay, thank you, Miss Yaldo. And Miss Barbosa, anything else?
Your Honor, I was provided a copy of the state's plea offer, and I don't know if it was a typo, but on the section where it says other terms, where the state was trying to explain that they are meant to run concurrent, I think that ADA wrote the incorrect case number, so I just wanted to clarify that it is for cases 2022 0Z0 5017 and 2020 0Z0 7480.
And Your Honor, if I may, the Miss Rihanna Canchola from County Court of Law number 2 did bring that up to me as well. So it is just a typo, Miss Barbosa. The two, that's not even one of Miss Ojeda's cases, the one that's on there. So if we could mark it for the record that is a typo, and that it's not the correct cost number.
And we have Mr. Needham with the clerk's office. Mr. Needham, please make note of that and make any correction that is required.
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Needham. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Always wonderful to work with you, Miss Yaldo. You are excused. And Miss Ojeda, similarly, you are excused. God bless you, okay? You take care of yourself. Take care of that family.
I will. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. And is that all we had with the detention facility?
With the downtown one, yes, sir, Judge. The other one
Okay.
is from the annex.
Yes, I see the annex, but they're downtown. You guys, thank you for all your help. You guys are always great, man. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good one.
And they're at the annex. Was that what was that also with I don't know, Mr. I guess Peterson is next, right?
Yes, Judge, he's my client as well.
Okay. And let me just interrupt, Mr. Tellez. Were you able to get in touch with Mr. Macias?
I was, and his client has been in federal custody since 2/13 of this year.
Okay.
They
And,
don't know, he doesn't know what facility he's in, but he is in a facility in federal for in transit.
Okay, and if you can let Mr. Macias know, because we were here, his presence was mandated today. And even though he was in federal custody, I am going to go ahead and no-show him. A capias will issue and the requisite bond will be set, okay?
Yes, sir.
Just let Mr. Macias know.
I will, sir.
And okay, well then moving on to Mr. Donovan Nathaniel Peterson. Mr. Peterson, welcome. You are muted right now. Your equipment is muted. So, but I do want to welcome you. And hopefully we can get through this hearing. I did see, I think, a recommendation. Was it 45 days, counsel, to run concurrent credit for time served?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct. And he does have credit. He does have the credit for all 3 charges.
Okay. And all to run CC, okay. And are we, I guess, Ms. Thomas, are you ready on this matter?
Yes, sir.
I am at this time calling the matters of the state of Texas versus Donovan Nathaniel Peterson. And there are 3 separate matters, all purported guilty pleas, 2023 0C0 3062, 2023 0C0 3510, and 2023 0C0 2004. If at this time I may please have announcement of counsel on all 3.
Nayeli Barbosa for the state, Your Honor.
Ana Yelda with the El Paso County Public Defender's Office here on behalf of Mr. Donovan Peterson, also ready.
And thank you again, Ms. Barbosa and Ms. Yaldo. And good morning, Mr. Peterson. How are you doing, sir?
Good, Your Honor. Good morning.
I know better days than today, and I know you're not in the ideal situation, but you're in excellent hands with your attorney. I'm sure she has explained all of your rights to you, but as I need to go over the same explanation of rights for your benefit. And now after I do this, if you have any questions, any concerns, then please let me know. Do we have that agreement, Mr. Peterson?
Yes, Your Honor.
The rights that you have are identical in all three. In all of them, you have the right to a jury trial, to confront any and all witnesses against you, to plead not guilty and force the state through their attorney to prove up each and every element of these respective offenses against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You further have 10 days to prepare for trial on each matter. And again, on each matter, Mr. Peterson, you have the right to remain silent. Now, do you understand these very important rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I take it, sir, that you are a United States citizen.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd be shocked if you told me otherwise, but I still must warn that if you are not, a plea of guilty to any of these three matters, or all three of them, could result in your deportation, denial of naturalization, or exclusion under federal law. And even though that doesn't apply to you, do you understand it? Mr. Peterson, even though that doesn't apply to you, do you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And knowing these things, is it still your wish to plead guilty to all three of these matters here this morning?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, before I accept these pleas, let me ask your attorney, Ms. Yaldo, do you have any concerns, reservations about Mr. Peterson's mental competency?
No, Your Honor, not at all.
Thank you, Ms. Yaldo. Ms. Barbosa, does the state have any concerns regarding the defendant's mental competency?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Barbosa. Mr. Peterson, what was the last grade in school that you completed? Mr. Peterson, can you hear me?
Some college, Your Honor.
Okay, so some college, that means you're an educated man. Clearly, you can both read and write the English language.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you ever been treated, hospitalized, diagnosed with any type of mental illness or mental issue?
Yes, Your Honor.
When was that, and approximately when was it, and what was it for?
When I was in the Army back in 2013, I got depression, anxiety, PTSD, and bipolar.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Peterson. Are you still treating for those conditions?
Not at the moment, Your Honor.
Have you had any difficulties, Mr. Peterson, in talking to your lawyer about your case?
No, Your Honor.
Have you had any problems making decisions about your case?
No, Your Honor.
And do you fully understand all that we are doing here today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and my observations of Mr. Peterson indicate to me that he is competent, and I will make that finding. Ms. Yaldo, do you and your client acknowledge the state's compliance with Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 39.14 in all three of these matters?
Yes, Your Honor, on all three cases.
Thank you. And Ms. Barbosa, does the state acknowledge compliance with that statute?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Barbosa. Then, Mr. Peterson, to each of these three matters respectively, how do you plead on each matter, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And are you saying you're guilty of all three of these matters because you are, and not for any other reason, Mr. Peterson?
Yes, sir.
And I am going to accept your pleas of guilty as freely and voluntarily made. I am now finding you guilty of each of these three matters, and I am going to honor and respect the agreement in its entirety. You will be sentenced on each matter to 45 days to serve in the El Paso County Detention Facility. You'll be credited with any and all time that you've already served. All three of these matters to run concurrently. And additionally, I am going to go ahead and credit any court costs those court costs be credited within the individual sentences. Obviously, there are no fines on any of these three matters. Mr. Peterson, you are how old, sir?
35, Your Honor.
And what was your occupation? What were you doing before being arrested or incarcerated on these matters?
I was unemployed. Before that, I was in the Army.
Okay. And the Army service there, Mr. Peterson, is something I greatly admire. Our servicemen and women, what they do for us. I am someone that doesn't take that job. I don't take that lightly in anywhere form. We are all indebted to our servicemen and women. Mr. Peterson, you strike me as being an intelligent, capable man, someone that can do so much better than this. And I know you've had your share of problems because you detailed some issues that you had when you were in the military. And I pray for you because believe me, I know people that have suffered consequences because of their service and serving our country, serving us. And I am very sensitive to that, Mr. Peterson. Are you a family man? Are you single? What is your situation?
Currently separated, and I have 2 children.
And those 2 children, they need their dad. They need you, Mr. Peterson. And if anything can motivate you to make the changes that you need to, it's those 2 beautiful kids. Because they are gifts. That's what they are. But they look to us as parents to be examples. And I can confess to you, there are times that I wasn't a good example, ashamed of the example I was. You understand? Because we all mess up. We all do. But Mr. Peterson, this is a lot more than just a simple mistake. This is something that has cost you the most precious of things, and that is your liberty. What price tag can you put on one day of your liberty? I don't know that I can put a price on one day of mine. That is how precious that is. And every day that you're locked up is a day away from your family, from your kids who need you, Mr. Peterson. And if there are things that are chasing you right now, any demons that are chasing you, you need to address them. Address them, first of all, because you love yourself, and you should love yourself. You should care about yourself. And then after that, because of the love that you have for that family, those children. And this is a stranger just saying a bunch of words to you, but I mean everything that I say. And I pray that you take it to heart, that you get out and never look back. You deserve better, Mr. Peterson, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Your family deserves better. And I've talked too much as usual, but I mean what I say. Is there anything else, Ms. Yaldo?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
Anything else, Ms. Barbosa?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Okay, well then